Welcome, thoughts, opinions of the AL East. Give me again a margin of 3 games up or down. Washington Nationals will win it. I think they will have 93 wins. One of the guys, if you're a National fan, Tanner Roark, 15-10 last season. Certainly starter-worthy material. But why do you have him in the pen? Because the 5 starters that you have, Scherzer picked up a huge contract, I believe it was 7 year, like 200 or 210 million. That pitching staff with Scherzer, Strasburg, Gio Gonzalez, Fister, my oh my. Now you have third baseman who's Anthony Rendon, 24 years old. Power and speed. I think he's 21 home runs, 17 stolen bases last year. You have Bryce Harper as well. That offense just keeps on going. 22. And will this be the year that he makes the leap to really get him up there with the likes of Mike Trout, who's arguably considered probably one of the best in the game? You have Atlanta rebuilding in this conference. You have the Mets. They got their pitching staff back. Harvey supposedly, is back. He's the ace. You have Marlins who improved their team, but I think they're still a little bit short in the NL. I clearly think that they're the team to beat in this division, who last year I took it, I think, by 17 games. Have the Mets and the Marlins made enough moves to narrow that gap from last year? Definitely not. And if you're a Nationals fan, this team is not even old at all. I think they're reading up on it. I think they're younger than what the average team age is. Remember, Harper is just 22 years old. And that's phenomenal. Just 22. Next, you'll have the Mets. And I think they'll be below 500. I think they'll be at 80 wins. They signed Kadire, 35. Very early in the offseason. And then if you're a Met fan, you were waiting and waiting. And they did nothing. And if you're from New York here, you know that the backlash just kept on going and going after that. Even billboards are put up, Wilpons that sell their team. But if you're a Met fan, maybe you're optimistic. David Wright, will he have a bounce back year from last year? Who said in the offseason that he did have a shoulder injury. Could Lagares, 25 years old, he's the best defensive center fielder. So he's there now full time. You just signed him for a contract. And again, like I mentioned before, you have Matt Harvey coming back. That rotation has talent. You have Jacob deGrom there as well, who was the NL Rookie of the Year last year, who just dominated last month and a half. But you lost Zach Wheeler beginning of this season, beginning in spring training due to Tommy John surgery. You are a young team. You have some prospects there waiting in the rings. Syndergaard, Montero, Matz. One of these guys could be used as chips for getting players down the road if the team decides to do that and pick up those contracts. You know, you also have John Neese, who's or John Neese, or the other guy, John Neese or Dylan G, who's good trade bait. So if the Mets are willing to make some noise, which is questionable, you could always improve that team. Next, I see the Miami Marlins coming in third. I give them 77 wins. In the offseason, they signed, making undoubtedly Giancarlo Stanton, the teams, the spots, the sports. I promise you I could speak. Giving him $300 million. And he'll be in Miami for the next 6 years. Now, besides that, besides locking up Stanton, you did pick up some moves. You picked up D. Gordon. He didn't get on base. He doesn't get on base enough to be a leadoff hitter, I don't think. I think he's only at about 330. He picked up Latos. But he is, kind of injury prone with his elbow problems that you had. They have a good young core, does Miami, though. You have Ozuna, Yelich, and Jose Fernandez, who's expected to make his return as far as your pitcher goes in sometime in July. If you're a Miami fan, a lot of long-term hope, but hopefully once the team gets better, and if they eventually win, hopefully you just don't trade everyone away like you have. Does this team have an identity? They picked up Herron as well. They picked up Morris, Martin Prado. Will it work out for you guys? I just don't see it. I just don't see your team being at a 500 team. Next, I have second to last place. I have the Atlanta Braves. Give them to me. I'd probably say, looking at the Atlanta Braves, give them 72 wins. They traded away a lot of their players, and they were good hitters too. Hayward, Upton, Gaddis. They did receive, however, a good starting pitcher in return. Shelby Miller. He came over from the Cardinals in that Hayward trade. You have Julio Teheran there. Alex Wood. And hopefully a healthier Mike Weiner. Mike Weiner. And healthier Mike Miller. The team has probably the league's worst offense, I think it's safe to say. And I think, unfortunately, they'll be going to their first consecutive losing seasons in a very long time. I believe it's close to 20 years. I think, looking at the Braves, make no mistake about it, they have started a rebuilding process. Yeah, you might say to me, well, we got Markakis, but I think they're only complimentary at this point. Kind of holding down the fort, making sure that the Atlanta fan base doesn't jump off a bridge. Could these players eventually, Freddie Freeman, Simmons, Miller, Wood, could they be trade bait? What's in store for the fans of Atlanta? I think they're definitely in a rebuilding. Next up, you have the Philadelphia Phillies. Give them to me for 68 wins. They're a very old team, and they're projected to be, at least in my opinion, Major League Baseball's worst team. They're an old team. And you probably, if you're a Philly fan, you've probably seen this coming years ago. except for your old GM there, Ruben Amaro. I don't know really what to say. They are finally committed to rebuilding. They got rid of Rollins, were able to do that. No one has been willing to pick up Howard. And you're still looking to get rid of Cole Hamels. But Dominic Brown, will this finally be the year that he comes up and does something? The Phillies haven't lost 90 games in this season since I believe it was like either 99, 2000. But I think, obviously, with this team, I think that's where it's destined to go. So, Nationals winning, the Phillies being in last. Let me know what you think. Until next time.